All right, we're going live. I need to get us some stuff. I'm gonna fire up Unreal. Unreal. There's our launcher. Turn on the cam. Okay, great. Close this. Close that. Close all that. Yeah, so I do not know what to do with Unreal. I don't know how anything works in Unreal. Sound is good. Oh, cool. Sound is good.
Sound is great.
Did you hear the text to speech too? That worked.
You hear this?
Yes.
Oh, good. All right, we've got Unreal Editor still loading. Comes. Yeah, I'm gonna react to a video in the meantime. Why not?
Hello, hello, hello. What a lovely day to be streaming.
Wow. Let's see, what is this? We have something new from Teenage Engineering. I am out of hard drive space. How is that possible? Let's see. Where can low drive space? Okay. Well, let me delete some shiz. Shiz news. All right, so let's take a look at what this is. OP Lab.
こんにちは、ティーネージエンジニアリングです。OP ラブ実験室へようこそ。今回の実験は少々テクニックが必要です。
今回の実験では、ブレッドボード、トランジスタ、ニッパー、
But you can't even buy the OP Lab. Is this an April
トラ
Fool's
ンジス
joke?
タは小さな電流で大きな電流をスイッチする機能を持っています。今回はこの機能を使います。ブレッドボードにトランジスタを配置します。
No, you can't even get an OP Lab. What are you talking about? New OS, new guide.
Why is it in Japanese? I thought they are Swedish.
Well, yeah, but they are also, just into marketing. So maybe they
このように接続してください。
are just trying to appeal to a
そし
market.
て OP ラブのデジタルインプットに接続します。
さあ、これで完成です。
Yeah, see, he's in the lab coat and everything.
もう一人の
It's stylized. These aren't like teenage engineering employees. These are actors
ボタンを握り
for
ま
an
す。
ad. Like he's wearing a lab coat.
それでは3人で実験してみましょう。トランジスタを増やすだけで回路は同じです。
See, these two guys look a little
This is
Swedish.
so fake. Yuck.
Yes, the video might be, an ad, but like it's simple technology. It's just electrical current. Like they're completing a circuit when they high five. It's cool, but the product's also discontinued. Like I don't know why this video was released 2 hours ago when this is the product and it's like 2 hours ago. Okay, so 2 hours ago they uploaded 5 videos for OP Lab. A
こん
discontinued
にちは、ティー
product.
ネージエンジニアリングです。このビデオでは我が社の新製品の OP ラブをご紹介したいと思います。
Here, someone has the comment. Interesting. Even the companies from Sweden, and this is filmed in Stockholm. He's speaking in Japanese. I'm gonna say, but the lab coat means it is serious research. Okay. It says 2012 in the last frame. Only
これ
$2.99.
が OP ラブです。
You're joking.
これは音楽信号のマルチプラットフォームです。
Even for $2.99, like
OP ラブには USB デバイス
maybe if this was around a couple of years ago, I could have picked it up. But like today,
2つの USB
far too late,
ミディイ
man.
ンプット、ミディアウトプット、DIN シンクアウト、CV インプット、ゲートインプット、CV アウトプット、ゲートアウトプット、そしてデジタル入力が備えてあります。例えば iPad を使ってミディ信号を USB 経由で送り、OP ラブから CV 信号を送ってアナログシンセサイザーをコントロールしたり、 OP1 から USB 経由で同期信号を送り、 OP ラブから DIN シンクで昔のリズムマシンを同期させることなどができます。アイデア次第でさまざまな楽器を OP ラブにつなぎコントロールすることが可能です。
このビデオでご紹介したものは OP ラブの一部の使い方に過ぎません。次回からはさらに楽しい OP ラブの使い方をご紹介します。
Recorded and filmed in 2012. Copyright to 2014. So this isn't even copyrighted anymore.
こんにちは、
I
テ
don't
ィーネ
know.
ージエンジニアリングです。このビデオでは
They're releasing
チーム
it.
ティーネージセンサーシリーズを
Oh,
ご
because I
紹介
released
したい
it
と思い
2
ます
hours ago.
これがセンサーシリーズです。
So
これやタップ、
Maybe they're just trying to build some kind of hype. Sensor lineup. Well, I don't think the sensor lineup is even, I've never heard of this. At the store. It's discontinued and there aren't any accessories for it. I don't see. New OS. OP Lab module is different. OP Lab module is the thing that you stick in the OPC. Legacy products, OP Lab. Also for $300? Nope. Nope. It's not worth that much.
パッドのように叩くことで音楽信号をコントロールします。ドラムパッドを自分でデザインしたい人にも最適です。そしてフリップ。フリップは加速速度式のセンサーです。振ったりひっくり返すことでデータをコントロールします。それではどれほどの回転に耐えうるかテストしてみましょう。このように力学的に LFO を作ることも可能です。フォークは圧力センサーです。強く押すことでシンセサイザーの音色や音階をコントロールできます。このチームティーンエイジセンサーシリーズは柔らかいシリコンゴム素材でできているので服等に縫い付けて楽しむことができます。そして TS1 チームスニーカー。このスニーカーはただのスニーカーではありません。この側面のポケットに TS1W というワイヤレスセンサーユニットを入れることで靴の動きで音をコントロールできます。すべて OP ラムに接続して使います。
とても楽しいチームティーンエイジセンサーシリーズ、さまざまな使い方でお楽しみください。
Okay. Okay. I'm just cleaning up my hard drive a little bit before we launch Unreal because apparently I don't have any room.
こんにちは、ティーンエイジエンジニアリングです。OP ラブ実験室へようこそ。今回は OP ラブを使ってメタルドラムパッドを作ってみたいと思います。
まずはキッチンにある金属製の道具を集めてみましょう。チーズグラインダー、鍋、ポット、フォーク、ナイフ等が集まりました。それからワニ口クリップのついたワイヤーを用意してください。ワニ口クリップをオブジェクトにつなぎます。今回はフォークをマレットとして使いましょう。ケーブルの末端を OP ラブのデジタルインプットにつなぎます。このメタルオブジェクトをフォークで叩くとドラムの音をトリガーすることができます。
Very fun.
通電するものなら何でもこの方法を応用することができます。例えばメタルテープを使って電子木琴を作ってみました。
皆さんもこの方法を使ってさまざまな実験をしてみてください。それではまた。こんにちは。ティーネージエンジニアリングです。OP ラブ実験室へようこそ。今回はこの OP ラブを使ってリボンコントローラーを作ってみたいと思います。
まずは両面テープ、ワニ口ケーブル、紙、分厚い両面テープ、アルミテープ、鉛筆、そして定規を用意してください。
Is this like marketing where they're about to? Because this looks so vintage. This doesn't look like it was made in 2012. It looks like it was made in 1970, and there's got to be a reason for that. So they're trying to maybe hype it up and sell it for more. Are they going to try to? If it was $3.99 originally, then if they're hyping it up as vintage, what are they going to raise the price when it's re-released? That doesn't make sense. I don't think that's what will happen. I don't know what they're doing. Nobody knows.
最初に紙の中央を鉛筆で塗りつぶします。1分、5分、これくらいでいいでしょう。
So it'll be a light sensor.
塗られている部分を切り抜き、両面テープで定規に貼り付けます。鉛筆を塗った紙を挟むように厚い両面テープを貼り付けます。半分に折り曲げたアルミテープをその上に貼り付けます。
Aluminum tape.
紙の両端、そしてアルミテープをワニ口クリップで挟み、OP ラブのアナログ CV インプットに接続します。すると、
Okay.
リボンコントローラーのように楽器をコントロールすることができます。
That's pretty neat.
このようなアクセサリーを作ってギターのようにプレイすることもできます。
こんにちは。ティーネージエンジニアリングです。OP ラブ実験室へようこそ。今回の実験は少々テクニックが必要です。
今回の実験ではブレッドボード、トランジスタ、ニッパー、ケーブルを使います。トランジスタは小さな電流で大きな電流をスイッチする機能を持っています。今回はこの機能を使います。ブレッドボードにトランジスタを配置します。このように接続してください。そして OP ラブのデジタルインプットに接続します。
Right, we watched this one. And that's it. Okay. Let's see how much storage I found. In the meantime.
Type of propaganda. What they do is they constantly are describing Palestinians as terrorists. And whether that's resistance fighters who are taking some kind of military action, or kids throwing rocks, or civilians doing nothing in a hospital, or living in a city. By describing them as terrorists, you're instantly creating the justification for the military to go in. And it doesn't matter if they're actively doing something, because if they're terrorists, that means they have done something, so you better go in there and kill them. And then they use this sort of defensive framing. Everything about the IDF is phrased in terms of defense, the Israeli Defense Force. Most of what they're doing is offensive, most of it, because the people that they're fighting, for the most part, don't really have the military capacity to attack them constantly. And so almost all of what the IDF does is offensive. They're going into Gaza, they're pushing further into Gaza, they're clearing people's houses out, they're taking people's houses. In the case of the West Bank, the IDF facilitates settlers and things like that. But it's all framed in terms of defense, and that includes the military operation names like Operation Shield and Arrow, Operation Protective Edge. These are the type of phrases that they use for offensive military actions, and what that does is that creates the impression in the minds of the soldiers that what they're doing is justified because it's defensive. They don't have to think of it in terms of like, what did this person do? Why are we going in there and killing them? Is it right for us to take this land? All of that can be wiped from their mind because all they have to think about is the supposed victims of these people that they are going in and killing. So it's completely stunting their ability to view the people that they are victimizing as victims. And that is a big part of what we hear from Ethan and Hila, where even though sometimes they do recognize that Palestinians are victims, and the way that they do talk about Palestinians is recognizing that they've been treated incredibly unfairly and castigated and subjugated, Ethan Klein has acknowledged that. But the problem is that when it really comes down to it, when you're talking about the military action, the nuts and bolts that have created this dynamic that creates an increasingly receding ground that is considered Gaza and an increasing ground that is considered Israel, which is a country that wasn't there 80 years ago. When you're really talking about the military reaction.
It's something really simple but really fun. So I'm going to show you what I did, and I'm just going to record it so I remember how I did it. I'm putting myself live into Unreal, and it's really fun. So hello, hi. Yeah, that's just crazy. So this is an asset that I bought off the marketplace, and I basically just put a screen in there, put myself on it, and then I'm going to show you how I did that. And here we go. Okay, so I'm just piloting it with the controller here. So what fun. So I'm just going to make a subdirectory in here, just so I don't clutter what I've just done. So the first thing you have to do is make a media texture. That was it. So right mouse button, and then go to media, and then a media player. Sorry. So the first thing to do is make a media player, and then it says, do you want to make a media texture with it? And you say, yep, okay.
Okay, so media player, media texture. Okay. Here is Unreal. I'm just waiting for it to load.
Realities of what people in Gaza face, that sympathy, that
Again,
empathy towards them
waiting
as
for it
human
to load
beings
again.
goes out the window, because now you're talking about
Unreal
terrorists.
is slow.
And so it's a compartmentalization that happens on the part of anybody who wants to have half a heart, wants to have half a soul, and wants to consider themselves empathetic. They compartmentalize, and they say, oh, well, the civilians over there, blah, 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 but they're being victimized by Hamas, and then there's these things that the IDF might do that are illegal in the cover of night, something that my own wife participated in. But hey, these things are complicated. And so aside from the fact that Ethan and Hila are, fairly useful parrots for Israeli propaganda, IDF propaganda, Zionist propaganda, I don't know, like I've said, I just don't think there's that much value to following them. Me personally, I just don't think they're very interesting. I hear from plenty of people who are fans of them. It's not so much, because I don't think Ethan Klein has that many fans that are like actually left wing. Some might consider themselves progressives, or I think it's mostly like centrist types or people who aren't that tapped into politics. So there's limited value to talking about them at all. This thing about Hila participating in these like secretive IDF raids, even if it was only one, it probably wasn't just one, and it probably was worse than what we just heard there. But that is interesting. There's some substance to that, And I think really the most interesting thing about it is how people are desensitized, not just to propaganda, not just to what they see happening through a screen, but things that they physically are doing with their own guns in their own hands. And that is like the real, it's like a fundamental human issue. Every military on the earth does this. And there are plenty of militaries that are, tend to operate in a more defensive capacity than outwardly offensive. But for the most part, any military has to frame itself as the defensive posture in order to get people on board with the mission. And I think it's relevant to us in America, not just for the fact that our money is funding what the IDF is doing in Gaza, which is something that we should never lose sight of, but also the fact that we now have a president who is not only fully signing a blank check for Gaza and wants to like completely redevelop the land in with U.S.
so now
ownership,
I've made a
whatever.
media player here. Double click on that.
Okay. So we'll go to content drawer, and then I'll go to right click media player. Okay, video output media texture asset. Great. Oh, let me make sure that I'm actually sharing this. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay. We have Unreal, we have our tutorial, and you can all see it now. I right click, I made a media texture. Let's see what else. We're doing over here.
And that opens this little window here. And then it's looking for a signal. Normally what I'll do is I'll use an image.
Okay, new media player. How did he get that?
And then it says, do you want to make a media texture with it? And you say, yep, okay. Okay, so now I've made a media player here. Double click on that. And
Double click on it, okay. Yep.
that opens this little window here. And then it's looking for a signal. Normally what I'll do is I'll use an image sequence. But in this case, I can actually just use this little button up here. This is a little folder. You open that and you go to video and it's seeing USB video. So, whoa, hello. So it's now taking that feed and making that into a media player, which I then have to put onto a media texture, which I then have to put onto a material.
Okay. Okay, that's pretty cool.
But yeah, the important thing is to leave this window open. So I'm just going to push it onto my other screen like that. And I am also, so that's step one. So the next thing is to go into, well, I've got a media texture, and this is, if I open that up, it looks like this. Hello, it's me again. But I'm going to leave that open, put it over there. And so I'm going to create a very simple material. So right mouse button, material. There. There we are. And double click on material. And I'm just using a very, very standard, let's put me over there. Hello. Very standard, whatever the default material is. And I'm going to grab this media texture and just drag it into the material area.
Which one, the texture or the media player? The texture, okay.
And then I'm going to feed the output of this onto the emissive. I could put it onto the base as well.
Yeah. Emissive. Okay, okay.
Actually, the base it'll add this whatever that color is. So I'm just gonna make that black. There we go. Okay, and then we save this texture. So just hit save. And now that's saved. Close that window up. And now I can add. Oh, why is my window gone all small? Let me open up my media player where it is. Media player. Then put that back onto the video just so you can see it. And that should update into here now. Window up. And now, very standard, whatever the default material is. And I'm going to grab this media texture and just drag it into the material area. And then I'm going to feed the output of this onto the emissive. I could put it onto the base as well. Actually, the base, it'll add this, whatever that color is. So I'm just gonna make that black. There we go. Okay, and then we save this texture. So just hit save. And now that's saved. Close that window up.
Where did you see save, my friend? Oh. Okay.
And now I can add. Oh, why is my window gone all small? Let me open up my media player where it is. Media player. Then put that back onto the video just so you can see it. And that should update into here now. Maybe. All right, whatever. Oh, it's because I've got two now, and that was my old one. So I'm going to make a new one over here. So I'm just going to go and add a shape and add a plane.
Okay. Add a shape, add a plane. Oh my god. How do I? Okay. Pinch to zoom. Okay. Pinchy pinchies. Zoomy zoomies. Okay. So we have even less to worry about.
Yeah, they're just not going to on catering benefits. They will cut me out on those benefits, but I think just by paying into the taxes, by being employed by it automatically goes into like the pension fund.
hear us? Hey guys, we're gonna read a story. Whoa. Here's what we'll do. We'll go like this. And then we're gonna switch to all right, so everyone can hear us, and then we'll show the book that we're reading. Here's what we're gonna do, William. Okay, ready? We're gonna put a camera on the book too, so people can see that. What do you think? That'll be nice, right? I'm gonna plug this in now. William, do you want to help? Do you want to read the book now? We're ready. William, come back. No, come here, please. Okay, I guess we're all done. Never mind. All right, let's go back to what we were doing over here. What are we doing? We're inserting a new shape. That is a plane. Add shape plane. Okay, great.
There we are. There's my plane. Pull that over here. Rotate it into.
All right. How do I actually get my butt in here? Tiny. Tiny little plane. Okay, here's our plane. And then we have to switch to rotation tool. Back to movement tool. Translation tool. Oh man, I don't like these mouse. Okay, keyboard works at least. At least we can do something with the keyboard. I'm used to the Unity mouse navigation controls where you can like hold Alt and change how the thing is, how the camera moves. Well, you scroll, so you can scroll to zoom or scroll to move sideways or scroll up and down depending on which modifier you're pressing.
Visibles, and then drag that material onto this object. Oh, there we are.
Okay. So media player, reselect a thing because I disconnected my camera by accident. And then we drag the material onto it, okay? Oh, that's cool. Oh, cool. And then how do you turn this into a game, though? Like, So slow too. Damn. Whoa. That's neat. This window need to be like in focus for that to work. Yeah. It's not gonna render if it's not in focus. Yeah, that's all right. Well, is what it is.
I'm upside down. Ah! Right. So I'm just going to rotate that round. And one little trick, again, just to get the right scale, is to change the scale to 1920 by 1080 because that's the video resolution. But instead of 1920, I'm going to go 1.92 to 10.08. And so that's the correct aspect ratio now. And I'm just going to just hide that one. Yeah, delete. Oh, look. Oh, I know. I've got all out of focus. And it was because my camera was actually looking at that object. So I'm just going to do Control Z and undo that one. So my camera, wherever you are, was it that one? I think it's that one. And then let's go to focus settings. Oh, it's not.
It's so weird. Like I have
City camera active 4. I think that's the right one.
It should be fast.
Yep. So I will change the focus and settings onto this plane, but that's basically it.
You know what?
So that was pretty simple.
I shouldn't be streaming.
And now I'm live inside of the world, and I can say hello and create my own giant, massive, what's the world? Lair, like a James Bond villain. Well, I've got the right hair for it.
I feel like it's the YouTube videos.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do for the rest of the day. Playing my James Bond villain. I'm going to press F11 to come into here.
I should be
casting from my iPad. So yeah, well, fun. All right, and then I'm going to try and investigate now how to use a keyer inside of the material. So then you can key out, I'll make a little blue screen or something and key this out and have a little play. But the nice thing is you're actually embedded in 3D space and you're in here. And if I was doing this properly, what I would do is I would record the video and then put it onto this media plate. But in this case, it's been really fun just doing it all live in sort of virtual production style. So, all right, I will see if I'm going to update it. There might be a wibbly, or I might just give up. But for now, thanks very much. All right, bye. Hi. So I had a little play, and I found out how to do the...
Okay, but how do I... Let's see. In this case, like... Okay, so now it's a game, but I had to open the media player and select a video. So there's got to be a startup script. I'm going to have to make a startup script. All right, startup script. Ooh, focus. Oh, look at that autofocus. Whoa, look at my little fingers. I'm going to write MS-13 on here, and then I'll get deported. Oh my God. I'm like, hey, my initials are Michael Shemish. My initials are MS, and I don't know. I have 13 nipple hairs, you know? Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, this is cool. Cool as shit. But how do I keep it playing? Play on open. I feel... Okay, so it has to be like... played. I close it, doesn't play anymore. You need to do is we want to like get the media player to play. So I'm sure if I access this as a variable, I don't want to have to open that window. I want to just like scripted asset actions. Huh. Load. Media player seems to be the only thing that needs to be like running in the editor. So instead, well, I'll keep watching this video, but essentially here, oh, I see, capture devices. Yes, the video, and it's set to 0 when I reopen it. So I think that's the issue. If we just set the capture device of that media player to be this persistently, maybe that'll like make it work while it's let's see, playback options, show text overlays, ooh, formats, tracks, decoders, ooh, cool. View, scale, show text overlays, shuffle, loop. Loop is true. Why to that too? Weird. Okay. Even having that little content. Okay, save that there. New stream media source, new stream media playlist. I clicked save where it said that there's like a save. That still doesn't. New media playlist. Stream media source. So the source is there. All right. Let's keep going.
Chroma key here, thanks to Winbush, thank you. And so I will show you how we got me inside of here with a transparent background. Ooh. Now, normally I would record this on its own and then do a key in DaVinci Resolve or Fusion or Nuke or something like that, and then I get a really nice extraction and then bring that in as a media texture. However, this is kind of really fun just for fun's sake. I know I'm doing something for fun. Yay! There are obviously some issues and things like that. I mean, not getting the world's best edge. So yeah. So that, you know, I mean, look at those edges around there like that, and you get some green spill and stuff like that.
Oh, it's awesome, man.
You know, for fun, it's pretty good. Oh, that's another thing you get as well is because I'm in 3D space. There's a thing with transparencies where it's the material has to calculate its blurs before depth of field or after depth of field. So your material, you kind of have to choose which way you want to go. But since I'm going to be doing a composite of all these shots later, it doesn't really matter at this point. So anyway, for fun. So I will show you what I did. So I got my little plane that I had before, and then I've just put a little chair behind there. And here I am, very, very skinny. And then, yeah, let's come back. And if this was a proper production, you would probably get some sort of 3D tracking software with the camera and have it linked somehow. But for this purposes, I'm not. I mean, it's just I'm just playing. Cool. All right, okay. So first things first. Let me come out of here. Press F11 to get back to non-full screen. So we had the material before. This was the material that we had, except I've made some little adjustments. The main adjustment is changing the actual material and change it from a
he does have
mask.
a green
No, it's actually opaque. It's like the default material. So if I just hit apply.
Okay, well, this doesn't apply to me anymore. Virtual production playlist. Okay, let's watch some more of these. Blue screen secrets you need to know. Wow, okay, I guess we'll watch all of it. I don't know.
Hi, in this video I'm going to show you the application that I made for an Epic Mega Grant around about 2 years ago. And I wasn't successful, however, I tried again, and then by the skin of my teeth, in September of last year I was awarded one. So thank you so much, Epic. What I'm attempting to do is to make a live action feature film with real people, not me,
Wow, this is crazy.
and virtual environments, and then
Oh my God.
combined inside of Unreal in real
I want
time.
to be one of these actors.
And it'll be fun. And here's
Holy
the video.
crap.
Thanks for watching.
Johanna, this is just like the Black Mirror thing we started watching.
Intruder alert, intruder alert.
Shoot the humanoid. Chicken, fight like a robot.
Welcome to Exodus. Exodus is a live-action
Johanna, are you
virtual
watching
production
this?
feature film for fans of all the science fiction movies
No,
we
you're
loved in the
not. Okay.
80s. Star Wars, Dune, Mad Max, and Flash Gordon. It's a visually spectacular, non-stop, action-packed genre movie utilizing revolutionary real-time technology created by Unreal Engine. Exodus tells the story of Caleb, a young Duke whose idyllic life aboard a orbiting space colony is shattered when his father is murdered by its warped cybernetic queen and Caleb is thrown into the Earth's apocalyptic deserts left for dead. There he's found by Red, a warrior maiden of the slave underclass who despises everything he represents. But Red and Caleb must unite forces if they are to stop the queen from vaporizing the Earth. The entire movie is being built in Unreal Engine, including environments, vehicles, and non-human characters. We're currently creating a master animatic as a first step, but unlike traditional previs, this animatic actually forms the backbone of the entire movie. First we block the action and environments in Unreal, render out the previs, then import into DaVinci Resolve to edit. There we add music, sound effects, synthetic dialogue, and simple visual effects to really start building the story in a visual way. With the animatic, we can also audition simple storyboards to inform us of what to pre-visualize next back in Unreal, trying ideas quickly, back and forth, effectively writing in real time until we're confident we're creating the most dynamic and efficient story possible. Once we're happy with the sequence, we can go back into Unreal and level up the environment and animation, bringing them up to final, knowing that we're only working on what will actually be seen in the final movie. Our live action cast will be filmed within a virtual production setting, using a combination of blue screen and LED volume techniques. The majority of the shoot will be blue screen to keep filming as fast as possible with a reliance on technology to a minimum. A fast shoot is not only less expensive, but it also keeps the actors and crew's energy higher, leading to a more creative and exciting performance. A unique approach of our production is that we're compositing the blue screen elements live within the real-time environment. First, we camera track the blue screen in Nuke, create a high-fidelity extraction, and then send both the camera and alpha-embedded EXR
Pretty cool,
into
man.
Unreal
Have
as
some
a
green
mini
screen
texture.
assets and
This
then
allows
just
the live
like
action plate to exist within the 3D scene, where it casts shadows, is occluded by the characters, and embedded within the atmospherics, all
Johanna,
in
we
real time.
could put our whole family
The real-time
into
artist can then
movies
move
with
props,
this.
lights, and anything in the environment to best fit the plate, something impossible in the traditional pipeline. I've been at ILM for over 25 years, working as an animator, compositor, and more recently an environment artist on some of the biggest franchises of all time, including Star Wars, Transformers, Harry Potter, the MCU, and The Mandalorian. Besides visual effects, I'm also a filmmaker. My debut feature film, Stay Out, Stay Alive, won over 10 Best Picture awards on the genre film festival circuit, landing us worldwide distribution through Gravitas Ventures. Exodus
Pretty
was a
cool.
quarterfinalist in the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences Nicol Fellowship Screenwriting.
Okay, so I'm not a filmmaker, but can spend all day and all night on the computer, and I can solve, a handful of difficult problems, but they're not very useful. They are difficult. Um, so I will just make a handful of scenes. There's just a handful of features, namely like cameras, camera positions, and animations. Maybe a couple of assets that are also dynamic, right? So it's like a Code Miko type of thing. Let's do Code Miko, but green screen instead of mocap. Green screen with just video feeds so that I can just like holodeck people in when I'm doing like interviews or something. Or not interview. Well, maybe sometimes we get like a monk.
Competition when I wrote it 20 years ago. However, because of the high cost of visual effects in the traditional pipeline back then, it simply wasn't feasible to make as an independent production. So, alas, it sat in the drawer of unrequited dreams. Till now. With the average studio budget of a science fiction film currently over $200 million, I can completely understand why studios can't risk investing in original stories. Unfortunately though, the true cost for the audience is that we're limited to reboots and sequels of existing tentpole franchises. With Unreal and the advanced capabilities of real-time filmmaking, it's now possible to make new, original, visually spectacular science fiction and fantasy stories at a fraction of that cost. And I'm beyond thrilled to finally be able to tell those stories, and in doing so, help usher in a new revolution of disruptive digital filmmaking. Welcome to Exodus. Come on guys, hurry up. Hey, so in this video I'm going to show you my blue screen process, how I take a blue screen plate like this and then bring it into Unreal Engine. So I'm going to break it down into shooting the blue screen, bring it into DaVinci Resolve, making an extraction, exporting it as EXRs, and then bringing that into Unreal Engine as a media texture, then putting that in the sequencer, and then rendering it out with the movie render queue. So you'll have all the tools to make your own movie. So let's begin. Here we go. So we're in the blue screen world. Now, first thing is, why am I shooting blue screen rather than green screen? Well, the trouble with green screen is that that light that bounces onto the green screen bounces onto the actor's face, and that gives this kind of greenish hue with the skin, and it can make people look a little bit sickly. So when you see it, you kind of go green and seasicky. So that's what often gives CGI movies that kind of look. Now, the disadvantage of blue is that in the RGB color sensors that your cameras use, the blue is much, much noisier. So it's kind of harder to pull a key. That's why you often see green for live broadcast type things, like news graphics, or when they do virtual production, but they do it live. The advantage that we have is because we're doing post-production blue screen, is that we can spend a bit longer on our blue screens inside of DaVinci, and so we can get a better extraction than we would if we had to do it live. So I shot the blue screen with the Ursa Mini Pro by Blackmagic. I shot at ultra high definition at 24 frames per second. I use ProRes because it's a nice balance of sort of size versus speed as my compression, because a lot of the modern cameras, they can shoot raw, but if they the amount of data that takes and it just fills up your discs and it's really slow, and so I'm like, okay, ProRes, I love it, it's great. Okay, but the important thing is I shot with the film lot. Now the film lot is a little color sciencey. All right, so in the real world, you've got black and it goes all the way up to the brightness of the sun. But on a monitor in your display world, you've only got 256 levels of RGB values. So if you take your monitor and turn it up as bright as it can go, and then went outside in a hot sunny day, you would hardly see anything. You wouldn't even know if it was on. So what the cameras attempt to do is to capture as much of that data as they can in your scene referred color space, and then you manipulate that in your program, whether it's DaVinci Resolve or Unreal, and eventually all that wide gamut of data gets tone mapped and rolled down into those 256 levels of brightness to be on your actual monitor. So it's best to capture with all that data And then when you bring in your files into Unreal, they'll have that wider color gamut that we can then color correct inside of Unreal in real time. And then it gives you a lot more areas to play with. And so you're kind of doing comp type tricks inside of the engine. And that's really powerful, and I love
AI.
it. So we'll get into that later on. So we're inside of DaVinci. And here's my blue screen that I pulled in. Basically, I just grabbed the movie file. It's that ProRes.
Yeah. Okay. So we're not gonna. I'm not doing green screen. I'm doing Unreal. Live webcam and UE. How to create virtual monitors. Yes.
Okay, so this is a follow-up to the last video that I did, just so showing you what I ended up doing. But then also, I thought while I'm here, I'll show you how I set up this fella here. Oh, wrong mouse. This guy here, which is the scene capture card. Is it scene capture?
Okay, so I guess the reason he's not building a game, he's just running it in Unreal, is because, you know, nobody's playing the game. It's just like he's just streaming the output to something like OBS or something. But I'm thinking I want to package it up into a game. I'm thinking I want to pack it up into a game with all those things as options. Like I should just be able to pick my webcam and go. Pick my webcam, pick an output, and go. Cool. Well, I've got a lot to learn about Unreal, and that is what I will do. But I will not waste your time with it. So until then, goodbye.